Death of an Artstyle. It's this video. Oh, that's not a very long video. 3 million views. Think twice before you open that crate. Huh. I guess you can fudge this as, of his own accord, but, See replies to top comment or pinned comment. Yeah. I don't know, maybe I should watch this right now. Should I watch this right now? I'll watch it right now, because if you're talking about it as a video idea, I suppose that could be cool. I don't know. I've always had a thing for response videos, though I don't know how relevant it would be considering how old the video is. It's honestly probably worse now than what he's talking about in this video then, because gosh. Here, I'll take a look at it. Oh gosh. A lot of this video is opinionated, a lot of it is also objective, and the rest of it hasn't decided what it feels like yet. It's also non-sequential, much like this sentence and beefsteak. Okay. I'm just glad he clarified that there are both subjective and objective takes. That's kind of epic. This video is still really relevant. Huge amount of TF2 fans remember this a lot, and FUNKe is super beloved. Oh. Well, that's cool, I guess. I have no idea who this guy is. Never heard of him. Probably was on UFR or something after I left, after I stopped watching it or whatever. Warning.
2007, 2017, 2009, 2017, 2013, 2017.
A couple of the items we've shipped in the past have been as far away from the TS Artstyle as we want to go.
And those items would be...
I think the dangerous glasses would probably be out there. I think those probably...
Oh yeah, those don't fit at all. Ugh. I actually have a very controversial take about the cosmetics of TF2. I have a very controversial thing about this. Just to clarify my own position, if it is ever relevant for anything in the future, I just want this on the record. I think that as far as cosmetics go in terms of internal consistency with the vibe of the game, I actually went over this with my wife actually to get her input on it as well at the time, and she swayed my opinion a little bit because it made sense. I don't believe, I think half of these work, just half of them, which is not a passing grade. The baseball helmet works because of Scout's obvious baseball Boston theming, and also at least the red one looks very much like a Boston Red Sox. Makes sense. Soldier stash makes sense. That's honestly the easiest thing to get right. Pyro's beanie doesn't work. Fro doesn't work. Football helmet doesn't work. Mining light, this helmet doesn't work. Hat works. Why I don't think these two work is because they are incredibly cartoony, and I know that TF2 is a bit of a cartoony art style, but it's too much. The beanie especially. The fro, I understand that it's time period consistent, but it makes no sense for a mercenary to be dolling himself up like this in an active war zone, especially. And considering that his primary outfit is with a beanie to keep his head concealed from potential explosives, I don't think this is appropriate, especially considering the advertisement that this shipped with. I mean, look at this dude. He's obviously getting ready to go to a disco night or something. Yeah, I think this is too much. I think it's just silly. Football helmet doesn't make sense because heavy is not American. This is an American football helmet of the time period. Doesn't make sense for a Russian to have it. Just doesn't. Mining light is it's up there. It's not Texas enough, but it works with the construction helmet thing, so I would give it a pass just on the sense that it's not offensive enough on a personal level, but at the same time I don't really think it's consistent with Engineer himself, but it is consistent with the environments that the game takes place in, like gold mines, so I don't mind it too much. I think it's a pass. This one is silly. I don't know why Medic, of all people, would be wearing a very old war helmet that completely gives his position away to a sniper. That is a tactical disadvantage, and as target number one, whenever he's on battlefield, doesn't make sense. Stupid. Hat works. Hunter. Teeth. Makes sense. Fancy fedora works with the suit. It works. So that's was that 1, 2, 3, 4 misses out of 9? Not a passing grade. So I always thought that the cosmetics always kind of ruins TF2's art style from the start, just because they couldn't keep consistency. If it was just 3 misses, like maybe it would be fine as like, oh, you know, they were just trying it out for the first time. But like to miss 4 of them, and like because you can't divide 9 in half, you might as well call 4 or 5 half. It's just not chill. I don't know if that's too controversial of an opinion, but that's my take on it. But then again, I've also had a bias towards the cosmetics that take themselves very seriously. Something like this is very cool to me because of the grittiness of the war thing. But at the same time, to lean into the character trope a bit more, especially considering how TF2 is, designed, I think that's fine. So, yeah, I should probably turn my camera back on. Actually, just thought about that. Anyways, that's my controversial take just on cosmetics as a whole. The foundation was already shaky to begin with, so.
Hey guys, is the Pyro update out yet? No? Okay. I have an announcement to make. I officially quit TF2. Trading. I got bored of trading years ago and I haven't actively done it in a long time. The reason I bring this up is that over the years, TF2's art style has gotten, we'll call it developed. TF2's cosmetics have always had some level of absurdity.
No, developed implies a positivity there.
Really ramped it up to like 10,000 in recent years, and I'll give you an example. The counterfeit Billy Cock is a great hat. It's absurd, but it's not unrealistic. It doesn't look out of place, and it perfectly reflects the character of the class wearing it.
Not over the top, but definitely absurd. Yeah, that's kind of funny, to be honest.
Just a banana.
The banana.
Does I even like bananas? Does anybody in this game like bananas? Okay, maybe him. But what's your excuse?
I don't have one.
TF2's always had contextually questionable items. I'm pretty sure mechanical arms and boomboxes weren't around before the 70s.
Yeah, definitely not. That's honestly something you could talk about too, is definitely the weapon design being out of place with the art style as well. A lot! Like, holy cow. That arm, the machina, the phlogistinator, just from looking at them, they don't fit the game at all.
But this game has teleporters and magical healing air goop, so I'm willing to suspend my disbelief at least a little bit. However, there's a line where things start to really look out of place. Promotional items are some of the worst contenders for art style breaking. People usually write this off.
Yeah, these are stupid.
Saying that because it's promotional, it doesn't count. And yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, I'm sure Valve sees it the exact same way.
I think the ones that
Nah, for Valve, it's a business decision. It's not about the game's internal consistency itself, because the headphones, no. Maybe made sense from a business standpoint, but the game, no. Promotional items are not exempt either, because you still have to see them in the game.
Saying that because
It's not like it's a limited time thing.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, I'm sure Valve sees it
Like the party hat or something.
ones that we would all point to would be the Shogun stuff. We're really happy with those items. We think that they visually fit TF style really nicely. They were made by Rob Laro. We love Rob's work. We think he understands TF style really well. Visually fit TF style really nicely. Visually style really nicely.
1971, by the way. That's the latest time TF2.
Sorry, Robin. I think that's an L for you.
This Rift was founded in like 2013, a couple years after 1971. I know I keep referencing this interview in videos, even though it's 6 years old and it doesn't necessarily reflect Valve today. But I feel like if you worked on the original TF2, you probably.
Well, it doesn't matter if it reflects Valve. What matters is about the game. Valve is simply the arbiter of what gets passed through to the game. So, at a point, if you're talking about internal consistency, Valve is irrelevant because they just allow all of this to happen, and they are absolutely to blame for a great deal of it. But if we're talking just about the game, it doesn't matter what Valve thinks, right?
Necessarily reflect
Like it doesn't matter if it reflects Valve's current values or whatever. If it reflected their values at the time, it doesn't matter. Because the art, the art style, the art form of the game itself stands as an independent entity from Valve. Not in the sense that Valve didn't publish it, obviously, but that it is judged independently. Like it is an entity to observe on its own. Doesn't matter what Valve thinks.
Valve today, but I feel like if you worked on the original TF2, you probably have a decent say on how the game should be stylized.
Maybe.
Whenever an item
Definitely it feels like he was grasping for straws, considering that TF2 really throws out a lot of concepts that TFC was toying with and that he toyed with Quake Team Fortress and all that. A lot of compared to the previous games, TF2 is stifled in terms of what gets through. And I think the lack of grenades is proof of that. But you know, we don't want spam, whatever that means.
updates their item, Valve generally obliges by implementing the update in-game. Most people only use this to overhaul the item used.
That doesn't fit.
Give it to another class that it fits on. But interestingly enough, Valve really didn't seem to care how far you'd push the envelope with this. You want to make the hot dogger all class? Yeah, fuck it, go for it. You want to make this knight helmet all class? You want to make a peaked cap all class? Oh yeah, let's make a fighter pilot hat all class. Okay, well that's not fair. Ever heard of the hazmat head case? As a joke, the creator put in a sniper version, expecting Valve to catch it, but Valve, being the AAA company that they are, didn't.
Does it still do that? Does it still clip? This cosmetic could walk so that, what was that really hideous soldier cosmetic from like summer of last year? It was summer of 25, right? Or was it 24? I don't remember. Let's wait for all the cosmetics to load in, because I swear it's these. Yeah, it's these. Ah. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. The camo is nice. That's about the only thing nice there is to say about it. Oh, dude. This cosmetic walked so that this one could run. I swear. I don't know why it reminds me of that. It doesn't really clip through on the soldier one, but man, there's something visceral about that.
Seems like Valve has stopped adding these multi-class updates, which is good because they were getting kind of ridiculous, but the fact that they were allowed through in the first place, to this degree... What happened to item descriptions? You know, these things? They stopped adding them after 2014 for seemingly no reason. And given the current ratio of TF2's developers looks something like this, I don't get why they can't...
Potted plant.
and knock out a few item descriptions. I know this sounds trivial, but hear me out. Item descriptions are pretty important. They taught us that Scout is canonically a pedophile, and if that isn't enough reason to bring them back...
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know what is. 7 years ago, Valve held a hat describing contest, and
That's
I don't
really
understand
stupid.
why they haven't done it again. I've emailed about it 3 times over the last 4 years, but the only time they've ever responded to me was when I was looking for a
20F California DTF. That's crazy.
when I wanted to scream freely. So I don't expect to hear from them anytime soon. Ooh, hey, pause the video, I just got an item drop. That's actually perfect, because it leads to my next point. Cases suck. 1, you have to actually collect the case before you can open it, which means you have to earn or buy a chance to buy a chance to buy a chance uncrate and ungrade unusual hat.
Gambling! We love gambling! Oh my gosh. 10 gorillion more dollars to Valve. Gambling.
32 duplicates, 0 unusuals, and I didn't even get every fucking item in the case! There's less than 20 items! 2. Class distribution is always uneven. Wow, look at all these Scout cosmetics. Wow, look at all these Engineer cosmetics. Wow, look at all these Scout cosmetics. 0 unusuals, and I didn't even get every fucking item in the case!
Ouch.
There's less than 20 items! 2. Class distribution is always uneven. Wow, look at all these scout cosmetics. Wow, look at all these engineer cosmetics. Wow, look at all these scout cosmetics. Wow, look at all those heavy cosmetics. 3. Sets are arbitrarily broken up, like this one, or
Only 2 pieces in game. Oh yeah, it's the vest and that is a nice rocket launcher model. That is TFC reminiscent. Wow. See, why couldn't Valve just done the poly count update, but like way more, and like still included a bunch of really cool things like this? Look at that! Look at that! It's even got the little monitor and the scope. Oh wow! I'm sorry, I actually really like this. I like this rocket launcher more than I do the cosmetics, and that's saying something, because I actually like the more military-themed cosmetics. Because it makes sense for warfare, but like... that rocket launcher. Include this in the game, but you can only fire one rocket at a time. You have to wait for that one to explode. But the upside is that you can do the Half-Life rocket thing, where you can laser point it to wherever you want to send it. And if you die while the rocket's still being directed, it'll just go in a straight line to its target. So if a sniper domes him as he aimed it, he'll still get the rocket over there and move him out of position. I don't know, but you only get one rocket, and it does not reload until it blows up, because you have to keep tracking it. Sorry. I don't know, man. I'm just saying. You want to talk about good weapons to put in the game? I'm just saying. That's my crazy idea. I think Pikachu Frankie would probably bite my head off for that. I'm just saying. It'd be kind of cool. And it could probably just do stock rocket damage, but like damage fall off could maybe decrease a little bit because the rocket has to be aimed around a lot, and you're probably going to use it for long range laser aiming. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying in front of one viewer. I don't even know who the viewer is. YouTube is saying that there is an error and that it's not responding. Why? I must open YouTube Studio to examine this flaw of mine. Where is it? What's the problem? It's still live. It's still working. Supposedly. Oh, hello, Richter. You are the one viewer. You are the one viewer. Okay. It seems to still be working. Alright. I love that rocket launcher.
this one, or this one, or this one, or this one. Or
Okay, okay. Slow down, slow down. Slow down.
Broken up, like this.
Can I examine this? Only one piece in game. That's the cloak, right? Because I don't think the spurs are in there. Or the hat. Definitely not the hat. And I probably would know, because if if the hat was in the game, I think I would have gotten that hat. That is a sick hat. Look at that. It's got a feather in it. That is one sick, nasty hat. I love the vibe. I love the vibe. Not much class coloring, but to be honest, I think even these subtle shades of blue and red with the browning is actually all you need, really. Especially if the map design is cohesive enough. The classes don't actually camouflage into the scenery like a lot of people, like Zesty Jesus would have you believe, where it's like, it's bad because there's not enough color. Yes, you do need a lot of color, but at the same time, classes don't camouflage. You know that if somebody is aiming at you, probably an enemy, just intuitively. And also, I think that would be enough color. I don't know why it wouldn't be enough color. I don't know. Maybe it could use a redesign. I'm not sure. I'm not a cosmetic designer. I'm not a pro. I don't know how this works. I haven't studied it as intensely as other people. Like FUNKe, obviously.
This one, or this one, or this.
This one's just weird. The mask. I don't know. I do understand his point, though, in that sets... These items really would work a lot better if they actually came in their complete sets, because holy cow, it makes the cosmetic itself look much more cohesive, because the one that's in this game is the mask, right? Because that's the mask that's used in like Emesis Blue, and that was like, oh look, it's a cosmetic you can actually apply to your character, and you've got Emesis Blue heavy. But like, the rest of the fit is what makes the vibe. It's not just the mask. It's like, Valve, what are you doing?
This one or this
Which cosmetic in this one is in the game? Is it the cape? Might be the cape. I don't know.
one or this
Huh.
one or this one.
Holy cow. This is a Halloween set? For Halloween, maybe that could work. It definitely goes in line with like Engineer's Iron Lung and a bunch of his other robotic stuff, like that Tin 1000s with the goggles that I really love. Oh, dude, that looks sick. It looks sick. I don't know if it fits the game, but it's sick.
Or Valve applies tiers to every case. Or this one.
Actually, wait.
Or this one. Or this one. Or this.
When the elbows bend, the model crunches into itself. Metal wouldn't do that, so it's probably move it higher up on the shoulder.
Or Valve applies tiers to every case cosmetic, which leads to artificial rarity and therefore price inflation, the highest tiered slot becoming an excuse to add a gaudy cosmetic. Nobody will buy keys otherwise.
Hey man, gambling. As long as you make it seem rare, it doesn't matter how stupid it looks.
Item border confusion because they couldn't fucking think to use something that isn't purple. God damn it! The workshop has become extremely unfavorable to community contributors. Cosmetic cases are rarely added.
Especially now with the Emporium running to the show, right?
Items are no longer purchasable from the store, and revenue is so diluted through key sales that most successful item makers won't be deriving much profit, if any, after the crate series ends. I know you probably understood zero of anything I just said, but trust me, it's important. I apologize if you find my language a little unusuals have always been gaudy, but every time is more gaudy than the last.
Unusuals were a mistake, dude, as a concept. It makes me want to say a word as a descriptor that I should not say for the sake of being safe on YouTube.
Anyone had some fire, and some nuts, and some green lights. Now we have demons vomiting bones, skeletons dancing under a disco ball, a portal to hell opening under your feet. Are you sure this game's not satanic? An orbiting ash.
To be fair, too, these head cosmetics, the head unusuals especially, just dead giveaways for snipers, man. I have domed people so many times before because their stupid unusual reveals their cover, and I just nick the top of their hitbox on the head, and they're like, "How'd you hit me?" And I'm like, "It's your stupid hat." That's how.
Ash-covered smoldering rubber duck and orbiting ash-covered scorching live bat. This one is just boxes. I'm almost convinced this one was made on accident. To be honest, unusuals have always kind of been ugly.
Yes.
They've definitely gotten worse over the years.
Sec. I didn't read it. Except Gen 3, that rocks.
Oh, that's the cowbell. You guys know what the cowbell stands for. It's time for a lightning round. Pink and lime are oversaturated and look bad on most things that aren't a hat.
They look bad on anything.
Black and white are too saturated and don't have any toned down alternatives.
I don't know if I would agree with that as much, but I suppose in the context of a game that's like in Dust Bowl or something, that's too saturated. I agree.
They've existed for 7 years and there still isn't a dark brown.
There isn't a dark brown? Is there still not a dark brown in the game?
Cosmetics are prone to noticeable lighting errors. Beard flexes are completely inverted client side.
Oh yeah.
Cosmetics are constantly clipping. Equip regions are flawed and
So many cosmetics clip now, even still. I think my cosmetics clip. I think the Poacher Safari Jacket definitely clips through the model.
a lot of ordinary combos. Team recognition! Imagine you just installed the game. What team is this?
Obviously a red demo, man. You don't have to be facetious. The red arms are right there. And I would see that in game. However, I know what he means.
What team is this?
Isn't this the one that's the blue spy? The one that Zesty Jesus used in like a video a while back.
What team is this? Okay, that one doesn't really count. out. I did it a couple years ago using a bug, but it's still a problem. And this doesn't really mean anything.
If it's a bug, yeah.
Added during the end of the line update, never actually an end of the line. Valve forgot to remove it from the crate before they released it. They also forgot to add the cold snap coat and had to add it later. So, you know, good job, Valve. I know this whole video really makes me come off as a hard ass, but I don't care that much about them pushing the art style. You know, the buds are pretty minimalistic, and Pyro wearing a boot on his head isn't really gonna hurt anybody.
Yes, it does.
There's a pretty thick line between contextually comical and just fucking stupid.
Correct. Also, holy cow. Average 2-fort dweller.
What a disaster!
Oh, that was it. I mean, I could definitely see myself making like a nice 45-minute dissertation on this. Because honestly, from the way that I've been responding, I'm listening to myself and I sound as though I'm even more extreme in my positions than he dared to be, and probably dares to be presently. I don't know anything about the guy, so I don't know. I understand why you mentioned this, Richter. This is actually startlingly relevant today. And the hard part too is that it's never going to get any better necessarily because of how do I say this? It's YouTube safe. Filthy consumers will just keep consuming because the nomgroid is the most common person you will encounter on the internet specifically, and probably real life too. And they justify it to themselves as having fun. So in their heads, there's nothing wrong because it's just for fun. It's just a game, bro. Just pixels. Why are you spending money on it? Stupid. Read replies of the pinned comment. Okay. Nah, you were cooking. This controversy is dumb. TF2 isn't exempt from criticism. 2 years ago, yeah. Okay, so the video was uploaded 9 years ago. This pinned comment was 2 years ago. As a result, I assume of it like doubling in views at the time or something. Look at more replies on that post. You might have to dig a sec. Oh dear. Okay. Why criticize content creators that help keep the game alive without talking to them? If you want to change, you can't just say it's bad. You need to ask, why do the creators think it's good? No, you don't have to. You do not owe stupid people the time of day if they are being purposefully obtuse about their lack of intellectual honesty about a conversation that really matters more than they probably think, to be honest. So, no, you don't have to be that honest with people. Valve allowed a banana hat into TF2 and the rest is history. I think that Valve could have done a much worse job with selecting cosmetics, but I won't deny some lazy and egregious cases. It's hard to say, especially now. Let's keep looking through comments. In fact, I'm just going to open all of them up on this pinned reply and just go through it. Oh, that was it. Okay. Oh, Funk responded to... Uh-oh. It's Zesty Jesus himself. And Funk responded to him. Uh-oh. This is gonna be fun. Ugh. Paragraph spacing. You do walk back on the video, at least in some capacity, by dismissing unbefitting cosmetics as funny, or the objective problems some cause as arbitrary or subjective. Some nuance and subjectivity lies in determining what is or is not benefiting for the game. Incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. You want the game to be consistent, you go all in or all out. If you can't do that, I do not really want to take you seriously. But that's... I suppose that's just me. But I believe that nuance, sure, insofar as context, but subjectivity should not lie in what is befitting for the game or what is not befitting for the game. You should have a line, you should stick to that line like hell. And if you don't, you are not adhering to the game design nearly as much as you pretend to. At that point. which it would be pretending at that point. But certain lines were crossed long ago, and that should have never been. Correct. Even more so now than ever before. I think most people could agree, and a giant hot pink banana head... Oh, I think he meant to say that instead of and, because that doesn't make sense grammatically. I think most people could agree that a giant hot pink banana head isn't something that belongs, for example. Oh yeah, totally. And if people deflect by saying it's just a video game, or it's just funny, or why do you not like fun, or if they actually try to make an argument, God forbid, that it does fit, they can be immediately ignored. The problem is that, to use a phrase that people use in politics a lot, their vote means as much as yours, and that should alarm you. And it does alarm me, because unfortunately their opinion matters in as far as the grand slop course, the discourse, so to speak, of slop. This video remains spot on, and seeing you and many others become complacent with Valve sacrificing what makes TF2 unique for the sake of player expression saddens me. Agreed. Capitulating to player expression is stupid, because player expression is grossly misdefined nowadays in the development space, and it also is grossly misdefined differently in the communal space amongst the gamers themselves. And it is disgusting, frankly, because people will design their entire games around player expression without actually knowing what that means. Not in the cool way that Minecraft does it, or did it back in the day, but it's like, you know, don't be fooled. Valve may have intentionally lifted their restrictions, but with money in mind, and not with care for the game, nor player expression. That's for damn sure. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. You may not care anymore, and that's fine. You've moved on to other things, but many others still do. And reducing concerns with content selection to it's funny puts a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. Well, it's sour objectively. It like the opinions of people matter at this point, obviously, because the discourse needs to come to a head and a conclusion, and people need to agree on something, or there will be discord forever. But it's sour no matter which way you look at it. It's just it is sour. It exists sourly, independent of whatever you personally believe. So yeah, I'll always stand by players being allowed to express themselves within the confines of a game's style and tone, but not to open the floodgates to anything they desire simply because they like it and expresses who they are. Absolutely. If anything, it's more just I've always seen cosmetics as just more of a personal distinction. I don't think it has anything to do with expression. Because when you want to express something, you are trying to make a statement piece, essentially. That's what I've always understood expression to mean, when you were talking about an outward expressing through something that isn't I mean, that's what facial expressions are. They're a statement of how you feel non-verbally. Right? And so when you're talking about player expression, you're talking about the ways in which players choose to say about themselves in that moment in time, right? And when you have something absolutely absurd that people will hang on to or try to make a case for because they think it's funny, what they're expressing, what their player expression is that they don't care. And that apathy is something that should be shamed out of any community as viscerally as possible without breaking any rules or laws or sticking to general ethics, you know? All right, Funk responded to that comment. Oh, dear me. I'm going to like this comment. I don't agree with everything Zesty says, mostly because, like pretty much anything he says, he never carries it to the logical extreme that it needs to be carried to for it to actually make sense. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. That's always been the kind of person he is, and that's just a personality difference that you just have to deal with, I guess. At Zesty Jesus from Funk himself, one could argue that the unrestrained level of player expression available in TF2 is fundamentally what makes the game unique. No, it is not. Not by a long shot. In fact, it's what makes it just like everything else. It's what makes it in line with the slop of today, especially the AAA slop, the Call of Duties and the Fortnites and the Minecrafts to a pretty decent extent, but you know, that's its own discussion. Not just the underlying principles of visual readability. Did you seriously boil everything he said down to just the underlying principles of visual readability? That's not very honest. I think it's both, but plenty of people consider the absurdist approach to loadouts an element of the game's charm. Yes, but it's very restrained absurdism. It's not like level 5 absurdism, you know? It's more like level 2. It's like, it's cartoony because the game is very cartoony, but it's, how do I put it? It's like what Alex and I were talking about in a Discord conversation about how the game is the right kind of goofy that takes itself just seriously enough for it to invite you to take it seriously, and then for you to accept that invitation because it doesn't do anything exceptionally retarded, right? It's just goofy at base. It's not even that goofy at base. It's really just more arcadey in the stylized, very, very stylized direction, I would say. And in much in the same way that something like the games surrounding it at that point in history, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, just for example, that is a game that is very serious in its tone, but it's also a game that still understands that it's a video game, and it takes itself just seriously enough for you to be invited to take it seriously enough to be invested in it, and you accept that invitation because you understand that the game understands it's just a video game, while also wanting to provide an experience to you that's transcendent enough for you to almost forget that it is. And that is what every video game should be. Video games shouldn't forget that they're a video game. And I think one of the ways that video games forget that, especially nowadays, is this slopification, this player expression thing. Player expression is nice and all, but it's used as an excuse to allow things like this to exist, things like that banana hat, right? No disrespect to Wheezy, but like, gosh dang it, you can make an argument that if he really loved the game, on principle, he should not be marketing himself with something that's stupid, with something that shouldn't belong. And I am not saying that to crap on him and just be like, and just say, you know, that I think he doesn't love the game, right? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that independent of my opinion of the man, right? Because I don't have any reason to dislike the guy. The principle demands, independent of opinion, the principle demands that people who love the game shouldn't apply things to the game and to their experience that destroys the game's internal coherency or consistency in any way. Because that's all a game has, is the internal coherency and consistency with itself. And if the game can convince you that it is very much coherent and consistent with itself, with its mechanics, with its art design, with everything that it has to offer you, then you have no reason to decline the invitation it gives you to take it seriously enough, while still understanding, of course, that it's just a video game, right? So I haven't even finished Funk's comment yet, but like, there's so much philosophy in this. There really is. Thank you, Richter, for showing me this. Holy cow, this is sick. This is sick. Oh shoot. Sorry, I gotta read through your chats. Am still here. Only served poop flavored cake for years, telling people this poop is what makes cake special. Ugh. I've dealt with people like that my whole life, outside of video games. People surrendered to post-irony with the ugly loadouts. Oh yeah. Post-irony is a huge thing, but that's also part of the cultural shift of the world in general. The world has become very post-ironic because it is very post-modern in general. So it's something people just roll over and accept because they're docile fools. Also, I have to finish this funk thing. And complacency is a large assumption to make. Where did Zesty say complacency? I want to make sure I understand the... Ah, here it is. The video remains spot on seeing you become complacent with Valve. Sacrificing what makes TF2 unique for the sake of player expression saddens me. Okay. Complacency is a large assumption to make. I can still care about a game while feeling that certain changes have largely benefited the game long term, like the removal of Halloween restrictions, even if that has directly resulted in a lot of negative effects too. Okay, you just destroyed your own statement. You idiot. Okay. Sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to call him idiot because I don't know who this guy is. I don't know how much I'm supposed to respect the guy. But like, I can still care about a game while thinking that changes that have directly resulted in a lot of negative effects have also largely benefited the game. That is not it's contradictory. It's contradictory because what you're saying is that you can forego the benefit of the game long term because you saw something in the thing that was breaking down the internal coherency and consistency of the game as amusing at the very best, or interesting for the sake of player expression. That's stupid. Okay, I don't know if FUNKe would ever see something like this, little lowly me talking about him and the way he thinks or the way he thought about this 2 years ago, but like, FUNKe, shut up. You ignoramus. You have no idea what you're talking about. It's obvious you have no idea what you're talking about. This really does feel like he walked back on the video out of some spiteful change, because that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. How can you care about a game while understanding that things you allow in your mind to exist in a positive light, you also accept have impacted the game on an objective level? Like, in this sentence, in this very sentence, he has distinguished that his subjective opinion of the things are positive, while while at the same time understanding that the objective impact is negative. You understand, right? He is... It almost feels like he's fence-sitting, honestly, like he doesn't want to stick to a principle, because he cares more about people maintaining the idea that he likes TF2 in their minds, and therefore he can keep his audience, rather than actually caring about TF2 and saying what needs to be said to prove that you care. And care here can be objectively quantified, because what care would be is a love for the game such to an extent that you consistently demand the internal consistency and coherency of the game to be adhered to the maximum. And at this point in the game's history, that would probably come about just as a part of the way it would come about, in the form of establishing a community server that curates the experience dramatically. And frankly, that's why I play Gold Rush, because Gold Rush is more than a community server. I don't care what people say about it. I think it is not a glorified community server, and I think that is why... it's probably why I like the game. It's probably why I like the game. Because there's nothing in it that makes my eyes bleed, right? Outside of custom maps, like crack maps or rats maps, but at that point, you just know that those are just for the kicks and giggles of it, more so as like a proof of concept, right? That's not actually what the game itself is trying to advertise as. It's more so what somebody's doing in their spare time because they think it's funny. And I suppose that's acceptable, because the game allows for such a custom experience to take place. But to then pass that custom experience off as what the game ought to be, like, never in 100,000 years would anyone in their right mind want to pass off crack maps or rat maps like Cyberpunk, or what's that really good rats map that I played in Pre-Fortress with 2 houses on either side of a street? It's got a Wii in the bedroom where the second control point is. It's a 5CP map. And then the little play structure where the final point is. Like, that's not Team Fortress 2. That's just a custom experience that people do to tool around. And people know that. People always knew it back then. Anyways, I'm sorry. Point being, what FUNKe is saying here in just this one sentence, what he is admitting to, essentially, self-reporting, is a lack of principle. Severe lack of principle. A lack of principle that is in stark contrast to this video. This video stands on principle. This comment does not. Bro changed. And probably not for a good reason. Because the result is bad. If you care about 100 things and then decide 5 of them are arbitrary, that doesn't mean you're now complacent in the other 95 things you care about. What? Wait, hang on. Richter, why did you show me this? I'm having a brain meltdown now. What is this? What? Okay. It's interesting to see your perspective on this stuff. I'm sorry, I have to read your chats. I'm telling you, bro, if you talk about this in a video, it'll go to people so fast, lol. This video is kind of foundational for a lot of discourse in the community, but nobody has really looked into or challenged the aftermath with what FUNKe actually is still standing on from it. It's really bizarre and interesting. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding, man. If you care about... if you care about 100 things... and then decide 5 of them are arbitrary, wouldn't that mean that those 5 things aren't really cared about anymore? You're just indifferent? Not apathetic, necessarily, but you're just indifferent? Indifference is not caring. You idiot. That doesn't mean you're now complacent in the other 95 things you care about. No one's making that assertion, you dingus! He clearly separated the good from the bad, and you're being like, if you care about all this good and just a little bad, but you can accept that the little bad is arbitrary. You're I actually don't know. I could probably sit on this for a few hours and still not understand what he was talking about. And if you got me in a room with him and I had to talk to him about this, he probably wouldn't explain it very well, because there's no way to justify this logically. It doesn't make sense. This literally makes no sense. I don't know what I'm looking at here. Is he stupid? Does he know? I'll just start quoting memes because that's all I can do. If anything, the lauding... Okay, he meant to put of here, obviously. If anything, the lauding of a 20-year-old retired design philosophy is complacency. Oh, God. Okay. There are 2 ways to respond to this. One of them is, yeah, that's a good thing. It's good at that point to be complacent, because at that point, I am still aligned with the best interests of the game. To laud a 20-year-old design philosophy, retired though it may be, is the point. It was the point of the design back then. The point is that it has strayed from that design without reason and without care. So yeah, he's complacent. Zesty's complacent. I'm complacent too. Good. That means we're better than you. You idiot. You idiot. Absolute buffoon. How does one sleep at night after saying something so silly? Also, retired design philosophy, as if its age has anything to do with it. As if people complain about the art style of something like Spyro for being retired or outdated because it's old. People still love the game. People still speedrun the game. Somebody Salt made a video about it recently. People still care. They care because it's cool. And that's... Maybe there's more design philosophy lessons that should be found in complacency than progress. This is just progressivism. I mean, he literally says not progress right there. He's just, this is such progressive mind slop. Disgusting. This is disgusting. And also, it reminds me of the critique that people have about Sniper, about like how do they say? Sniper wasn't designed for people to get good or this good with him. Prove it. You idiot. Prove it. Prove it. You can't. You can't. You never will. You never can. It's not possible. It's not possible. And I outlined that in my video in like all the different ways outside of directly saying that. You can't. You can't prove it. It can't be done. Prove that the ancient art style, the retired art style of TF2, prove that praising it, prove that its existence is something that deserves retirement, something that deserves a negative connotation to be placed upon complacency. You can't. You can't. Because if you tried, you are proving to everyone that the Emperor has no clothes. You don't love the game. Perhaps you never did, which I don't think is true because you loved it enough to make this video in the first place. So what's with the sudden hostility here? What's with the sudden stupidity here, honestly, is a better question. Not progress, which is the acceptance of beneficial change. Yeah, that would be progress, but the change has to be beneficial. It's not. It's provably not. Your video proves it's not. And that was just back then. It's 10 times worse now, 9 years later. There's not positive change happening in the world of TF2 cosmetics or its art style. Loser. Obviously, that's devil's advocate and easy to poke holes into, too. Just saying maybe don't assume things. That's real rich coming from you, bucko. I don't even know who you are. Do you deserve 1 million subscribers? Do you? If you think like this now, or if you hold this because you don't want to side with bad orange man that's just basic conservative, he's not even anything extreme. People should be hating me. I miss Team Fortress 2, 4 million views. When did I watch this? Okay, well... Oh, there's more. There's more. Let's go. That's more. There's more. Richter, you didn't tell me there was more. Okay, sorry. I have to read chat now. It's complacency not to be in favor of changing iconic, integral parts of culturally significant things for no reason. Have you never heard of it ain't broke, don't fix it? Yeah, seriously. I've never played Halo. I've simply done research on it as part of its like historical significance with video games. The first 3 Halo games are shockingly coherent with themselves, even in the multiplayer. And, like, I guarantee that is a big thing for people, especially now that with the Halo CE remake, if you want to call it that generous term, is essentially throwing Halo CE's original art style out the window in favor of over-designed garbage that looks like AI slop decided to make a Halo game with like all the data center power in the world to try to make it the most convincing not AI looking thing possible. I mean, other games have examples of internal consistency and coherency, and when that art style changes, people lose it too, although I suppose not as much as they should either, otherwise Call of Duty should be in a better place. Same with Counter-Strike, really, with their market. All of this really is because of Man Economy Update. Man Economy Update was a mistake. Enough said. Enough said. If you disagree, you're wrong. You're wrong. Because this was always going to be the logical end of Man Economy. This was always going to be the end of it. It's... Hats should have been kept to, like, 3 a class. No other cosmetics other than hats. And they should have been unlocks, like... weapons. This was always the logical outcome of an economy, is we get stupid discussions like this that shouldn't need to be had, but they are. Retired design philosophy, and it's literally still a foundational reference for all modern FPS game designers. Enough said, right? Do you know what else progress is? Cancer. Agreed. Man economy thing is the biggest truth nuke you ever said. Oh, thanks. Been saying this for so long. It is the logical outcome. GR is an attempt to amputate and stop the bleeding. Yeah, that's why I'm sticking with Gold Rush. That's why I'm sticking with Gold Rush. Because Gold Rush is based, and Gold Rush won't have an economy. Unlike No, I'm just kidding. Pre-Fortress would be stupid enough to have an economy in it, though. Okay, so there's more. There's more. Wait, so does this comment, does this Zesty comment respond to the reply to his original comment, or does it reply to null voids? Whatever. I'll read it in order anyway, just cuz. Not negatively impacted your experience. I can't imagine that, given this video exists and you are going out of your way to defend the points you made in it when others say you walked back on them. Honestly, I think complacency is a good word for your response to this so far. I think you wanted to be left out of this and don't care, but now have to defend this nuanced take of yours, where somehow you both think that cluttered and saturated low-effort cosmetics are bad, but also should be allowed in the game because some people identify with them. That's what I'm talking about with player expression, man! Truth Nuke from Nullvoid 3545. Holy cow, tell me you actually produced something. No? Oh, dude, you're calling a million subscriber content creator out on his BS. Oh, no, I admire this man. This man, he is a patriot. He's a real TF2 patriot. Perfect for the theme of today, July 4th. Patriotic. That's the wrong hand. Patriotic. I think pointing out a lack of nuance is unreasonable when you seemingly stop just short of explaining what exactly you're considering when you say player expression. A man after my own heart, calling someone out for not defining their terms and simply assuming you understand what he means. Exactly what I was discussing in this latest chapter of my sniper video that I posted to my Discord, unlisted. Join the Discord, and you too can get early access to little parts of the videos as they're in rough editing phase. Perhaps we are missing something, and your perspective could add nuance to our understanding. But you didn't want that. You wanted people to stop bothering you on Twitter. Oh, this is Twitter drama. Talking about TF2 Artstyle and editing Sniper Manifesto Part 4. At FUNKe. You suck! Screw it. He's got 1 million subscribers. He's not going to care about me. Little measly, pathetic 1082. He's not even monetized properly on YouTube because he doesn't have the watch hours because I deleted all my videos or unlisted all of them like the idiot I am. Anyway, last we left off, Null Void. Based. So based. So based. FUNKe. I can care about the art style while still I haven't even finished reading the sentence and I know it's gonna suck. I know it. Because that sentence structuring can, like 99% of the time, can only ever mean doubling down on your illogical stuff. I can care about the art style while still maintaining a personal opinion on what parts of that art style are meaningful to preserve and what parts are fine or even beneficial to let be changed. What? I'm not exaggerating for stream, okay? My goal is not to be a streamer. I'm not going to exaggerate my expressions to pander or to cater to an audience I'm not interested in garnering. Oh my goodness. Just outright said it. Some parts of the art style, they're iconic. You gotta keep it. But some parts, they gotta be let go. And you gotta be okay with that. Because it's beneficial. How? I don't know, but you just gotta let it go. Trust me, I'm the YouTuber with 1 million subscribers. Trust me, bro. Oh my gosh. I'm more interested in this from the philosophical standpoint. I'm not in this to start Twitter drama. In fact, hilariously enough, I can't actually get into Twitter anymore because my account has been trying to go for re-verification, and I can't do that. So, because I threw my smartphone away, and I don't want to get it out of the hole that I dug it into, because I don't want to be tempted into distracting myself again. So, I don't have Twitter anymore. So if you want Twitter drama with me, not gonna happen. You can join my Discord server to yell at me there, and I'll yell back. But I'll keep you in there, because I find it funny. Just saying, if anyone out there is watching this VOD in the future and, like, hating, you know, I think slate paint was a mistake, and if they changed it, I'd be happy. What? Ah, Even Brave AI summary says it is widely considered biased towards the blue team as its dark teal gray shade clashes with the red team's color palette, often looking inappropriate or awful on red cosmetics. A color similar, just like, yeah, this is terrible. This is ugly. Get this off of TF2. This isn't in TF2's color palette. This looks like a particular color of barf that I had as a child because I ate too much of a certain candy or something. I still can't get over, honestly, I still can't get over how the guy has just straight up said, I can care about the art style while not caring about the art style if it suits my personal preference. And in this example, he is either intentionally or luckily citing an example that is objectively bad and shouldn't be in the game anyway. And if they changed it, just removed it, he'd be happy. Good. You've aligned yourself with the interests of the game in that tiny, tiny aspect of this conversation. Good for you. Good for you. Here's the world's smallest music box playing Happy Birthday to you in celebration of your one preserved IQ point. Why I'm laying into this guy, aren't I? I don't care. I don't know who he is, and he means nothing to me other than a philosophy conversation, because, boy, this guy does not understand what he's talking about. But I also still find entertainment in the situations where it's exploited, because ultimately, it's subjectively funny to me. And because I think TF2's core design principles still function even in extreme scenarios. No. I've already explained why. No. You have to actively, methodically go out of your way to exploit any of the game's leniencies. And that concentrated effort alone is what I find entertaining among bad loadouts. Did you not literally just make a video that you're commenting under, where you basically said, you didn't say it exactly like this, but you've basically said that this exploitation is the very thing that's bad? And now you're saying you think personally it's fine because you commend the effort because it made you laugh? Zero principles! None! Absolutely nothing! It's not complacency to find positives in an unpreferable situation. It's human nature. If I hit something, I'd probably break 5 other things in this place. It's really small space. I want to say things that are safe to say around my wife because she and I share the same principles about the joke that I would be making. I can't make this joke on YouTube because I could probably get flagged. You are a funk. I don't know if you've amended this statement or not, if you've grown up. So if you're watching this, or anyone who likes funk at all is watching this, I'm going to refer to Funk right now as if he still holds this, right? As if he just posted this now, because I don't know if he's changed. You are a spineless dimwit. You have zero care. You don't have care. You don't have care. You don't have love for this game. It's not complacency to find positives in an unpreferable situation. It's an unpreferable situation. You say it's an unpreferable situation. You admit that. Unpreferable situation. Your words. Which means there should be no reason to go find positives about it. You shouldn't need to do that. What you should do is say, no, this is unacceptable. Revert this. Change this. Remove it. Right? Because that's what actually caring about quality means. But if quality to you is just it made me laugh, you serve zero purpose in the conversation. Absolutely none. Your opinion is invalid because it is nothing more than an opinion. You have no stake in this conversation at all because you refuse to even try to sound objective, to sound like you have stake in this beyond your personal feelings, which is a shame, because the video you made 9 years ago, the one that you're commenting under, the one that you're engaging in this conversation under, it has stake in the conversation because it's objective, because you said something. But now you've amended your statement to, oh, it made me laugh. So it's fine. It's fine. In fact, I will project the fact that it made me laugh and say, and tell people, instruct people that it's not complacency, because apparently complacency is in a negative connotation here because he's too stupid to realize that that's not how the word works, idiot. It's not complacency to find positives in unpreferable situations. I did it. I deluded myself really easily. You should too. This is my least favorite type of human being. No principles. Absolutely none. They will capitulate to whatever makes them feel nice in the moment. It's no wonder people don't like Sniper. It's no wonder people who don't like Sniper probably agree with this guy about things like the art style or things like quick play, right? Because you have to be complacent with the quick play thing, right? You got to be complacent with the fact that we're in casual. All you can do is just ask for improvements to casual. And even then, don't turn casual into quick play. No. You have to be complacent. You have to accept mustard cupcakes. That's what Zesty Jesus says, right? Mustard cupcakes? Is that his analogy? Pretty sure that's his analogy. When my opponent makes me laugh, I actually completely drop all pretext of having internal moral principles or systems of philosophy and say, that's it, I officially don't care anymore because I lolled. Lauding a design philosophy that birthed one of the most memorable games in history with an instantly recognizable iconic design and, I assume you mean to imply, aiming to preserve that is now against progress? What? I completely disagree. TF2 shouldn't evolve to become something it isn't. This is why I sympathize with the political perspective that all cultures should be homogenous with themselves and exclusive to themselves as much as possible. Because if you don't do that, you don't have a culture. You have a hodgepodge. You have a melting pot, as America is very much sadly now. And TF2, it's funny because this sort of thing reminds me of that. It's like a microcosm of that. Because what it's essentially doing is accept things that don't belong because short-term gratification, essentially, right? Short-term gratification. That's all you live for. That's all you want. I understand why people would make fun of that one guy that said that one thing about like, oh, I like this culture, I like their curry, or blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing here. It's like, oh, I like the banana hat. It made me laugh. It doesn't belong. It's not part of our culture. It's nice to enjoy the concept of that in a... Like when you go visit other countries, right? You're a tourist. It's nice to appreciate those other cultures for what they are as a tourist because they're not part of your culture, but it's a fresh experience, right? It's something different. But you understand as much as they do, you should, that it's their culture, right? And you would have to do a lot of work to integrate into that if you really respect it that much, right? Same thing with TF2 weapon design, map design, cosmetic design, everything about the game. TF2 is one of the most iconic and recognizable and memorable games in history. I agree. And to suddenly accept that, to suddenly accept things that shouldn't belong in the game because it made you laugh or because it made you go like, oh, you know, or like references, you know, reference items like Mario hat or Batman belt or achievements that refer to things even is kind of, it's a little on the weekend. To accept that is to have no standing in the culture, essentially, that the game produces for itself, right? And it's that kind of exclusivity that some people, like Zesty Jesus, want for Team Fortress 2 because it would help the game kick tourists out when they suddenly start making suggestions that don't go in line with what the game's best interests are, or what would be in the best interest of the players of that particular game, because the particular game needs to function a certain way for its culture and its essence to maintain distinction amongst everything else. Other than that, I have no reason to treat Team Fortress 2 in any other way than, like, I don't have any reason to treat Team Fortress 2 as something that isn't Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever other AAA game slop is now. I don't honestly keep up with that anymore. And what Zesty's pointing to is the preservation of the culture, of the game, of the essence, of its soul, right? This is what people mean when they say that a game has soul, I imagine. Well, no, that is what it is. And FUNKe refuses to accept that this game is possibly even deserving of the preservation of its soul, because, what, it's old? Could you make that argument about Quake? Is this why people play on PC and get mods of games? Because it's very comfortable. It's a comfortable environment for them to damage the internal consistency of a game for the sake of making you laugh. Is this why people download, like, not safe for work mods on things like, what was it, Resident Evil 9 that recently came out, where people were doing all that disgusting modding stuff for, like, the thirst traps on both of the main characters? It's like, really? Fine, but be comfortable never ever being taken seriously ever again, ever. Because that's what your logical end is, you know? I understand that preserving TF2's visuals is a fool's errand. It's not if you believe in it hard enough. And that is where I will be cheesy and say if you believe hard enough in it, because you are upholding the principle, and you are reminding people that the principle exists irrespective of their opinions, right? That it is a capital T truth to adhere to if you want to go to that extent. Much in the same way that a lot of other things in real life possess capital T truths about them that need to be preserved. Otherwise, they lose their identity, right? But I think referring to the mess we have today as a modern art style for the sake of progress is laughable. Oh, it's postmodern. Yeah, slop. Postmodern. Progress. It's always how it winds up. Progress or evolution isn't always a good thing. Well, no, because the nature of the word progress or evolution implies a positive direction. What we're experiencing right now is regression, regress, devolution. Right? We're devolving. That's the word to use. It's not to say that progress or evolution isn't always a good thing. Use the word correctly. Do not let people use the wrong definitions. That is the one thing I would tell Zesty Jesus right now. If I had to not counsel him, he wouldn't care about my counsel. He doesn't care about me at all. He hates me because I made a video against Lucid's thing. But do not accept, I guess what Louis Rossman says a lot, don't accept the premise of, I can't say the word, but don't accept the premise of stupid people. Because the minute you do, you are now playing their game, and they have to understand that they are playing your game, but that also you are playing a game that is searching for truth, right? That's all this should be, the pursuit of truth, like everything else. So do not accept the false premise that progress or evolution isn't always a good thing. What you should say is, what we are experiencing isn't progress. What we're experiencing isn't evolution. It's devolution. It's postmodern, and it is obviously detrimental to the game. Use the right words, right? That's all I'm saying. TF2 is evolving to become completely tactless. Again, not evolving, devolving. And shedding what initially made it cohesive and special. It's progressed. Good, he put quotations there, that's good. From a cohesive product with tight themes, characters, and design to a product where I get to slap a bunch of random garbage onto my player model and squirt all over it. It's sad. It is sad. Odd choice of wording, though. TF2, for many years, had a restrained level of player expression. He did mention it. Very nice. In that most cosmetics and content were at least loosely tied to the game's art style and tone, and even class personality. Over the years, that's decayed as Valve gradually gave less of a crap. It's not progress. It's rot. There we go. There we go. That's the right way to say it. It's rot. Zesty, my progress point was that Valve adding 3 item slots rather than just 1 for a hat was an intentional breach of their own design restrictions. I don't think he ever mentioned that in any comment or in the video itself, but I might be misremembering. If they had restrained themselves to the production Bible of the game, many of its best features would be non-existent. No, they would probably be better, actually. Or the features that we would get would be better than what we had in that period of time and better than what we have now. This is why a design document is important for video games, so that you can adhere to it, you idiot. I'm not saying they didn't bend any rules too far, just that it's a bad argument to call acceptance or enjoyment of new features complacency. A bad argument to call acceptance or enjoyment of new features complacency. Well, it is. That's what it is. You are being complacent. If anything, you're more complicit with the rotting of the game, the active rotting of the game. And that is very telling. Very telling. I'm going to put a like on that. We definitely agree on cosmetics being better with themes, so I'm not really sure what to tell you. Grow a spine, FUNKe. You know exactly what you need to tell him, and you know exactly what he's saying. Don't pretend. I'd rather updates only add sensible stuff. Not the impression you've given. I also just find crappy loadouts funny. No one cares, especially now. I don't feel like any of that contradicts my past observations in the video. Yeah, it does. It actually directly contradicts the title. You are complicit and complacent in the death of the art style of TF2. You are the problem, FUNKe. And you should be shamed out of the community for it, because TF2, if we are to hold you to the principle, the capital P principle, you have no place here. Get out. So I don't see or understand how any of that comes off as walking things back. Again, title of the video. Calling items having no descriptions arbitrary. Was he referring to that? No, he didn't say that most of the observations were arbitrary and subjective. He said that there were arbitrary and subjective things, but only in the intro, and he never really clarified which ones were objective and which ones were arbitrary in the video itself. Zesty Jesus never used the word arbitrary. Here. He used it in the initial comment. By dismissing unbenefiting cosmetics as funny, or the objective problems some cause as arbitrary or subjective. Well, what Zesty's pointing out is that FUNKe doesn't know what he's talking about, and he is misusing the words arbitrary and complacent because he doesn't understand what they mean. And if he did know what they mean, he'd probably still use them because he's an idiot. Calling items having no description arbitrary isn't rescinding the point. It's just reflecting on how some of my complaints were ultimately arbitrary. No, most of them were actually not arbitrary. They were actually very reflective of the truth. And you walked back on it because you are a coward and a weak human being. And I can say that in full confidence because you have shown your hand. To find positives in an unpreferable situation reads a lot like the outright definition of complacence and human nature is taught. Depends on what you mean, but in this case, yes, that is correct. And yes, that is the definition of complacence. Regardless, you're obviously entitled to not have strong opinions on TF2's art style. That's not true. That's an illogical fallacy. Entitlement to one's opinion or entitlement to not have an opinion is non-existent. It's not real. It doesn't exist. That's not true. I hate it when people say that. Although, if he was entitled to not have it, he shouldn't have made the video in the first place, because now he's screwed himself. Now people remember him saying this and can always refer to this as something in which he said something true and then walked back on because he was a coward. But I'd like you to clarify if the reason you chose to agree with labeling this video as harmful to TF2 cosmetic discussion was to get a bunch of people to stop bothering you, or if you genuinely have more to add and just somehow only managed to convey that some hats are better than others and slate-colored paint was a mistake after I have asked 3 times and everyone else here countless more. No, I don't think it's harmful. I just think a lot of buzzkills quote it to dunk on anybody who likes banana hats, which probably wouldn't have happened if I reworded a few parts of it back then. Well, they should dunk on anyone who likes banana hats, because the banana hat's stupid. I'm not going to say that you're a bad person for liking the banana hat, but you don't adhere to the principle, the capital P principle. So I'll make fun of you for it. I'll dunk on you for it, yeah. I'm not making a statement about your character, I'm just saying. You look stupid. Also, that isn't complacency. Complacency is willingly ignoring the negatives of a situation because of the benefits. Well, you are willingly ignoring the negatives of a situation and pretending that benefits exist, but you're not actually saying what the benefits are. And player expression is not a benefit, and if you don't define it, and if you can't actually make the definition make sense. I've been pretty vocal about the negatives, but changing those things is out of my control. Are you complacent with death by virtue of not desiring immortality? I'm not even going to dissect that because that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. A large push towards TF2's declining art style will sometimes result in people using the very reasonable points you made in the video to lobby for better quality control at the only level we can noticeably influence the players. Your very public denouncement of this video directly harms this effort in the name of what? Something you would have reworded but ultimately have the same opinions on? Good job calling him out on his BS, null void, very good. 2. Yes, absolutely. I think it is entirely unreasonable for a human to not want immortality simply because they cannot have it, don't you? Correct. That is the only rebuttal that needs to happen. It is unreasonable for a human to want something they cannot ultimately get. And to pursue it is foolhardy, and it will ultimately kill you faster. It's important to recognize the choices you would make if you had those options. We define and represent ourselves based on the past choices, our past choices, and allowing that mental model to be built of choices limited to only the options we were given, either directly by others or by larger collateral factors, limits the depth of our future considerable solutions. I kind of understand what that means, but it's a bit vague. It's a bit vague posty, but... Oh, and there's somebody else that said something. Difference between expanding the game's system by making compromises, blah, 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 but that's not the same thing as completely ignoring one of the main appeals of the game for certain items, such as the art style. Arguably, 3 cosmetic slots do lead to some screwed up combinations, even with items that fit the art style, but it definitely is good, except in a few edge cases. No, I wouldn't say it's good, because it ultimately leads to Flanderization. Things should be limited. And again, it all ties back to main economy. The root of the cancer. Microtransaction hats that don't completely clip and mutilate the game's visuals, even just don't literally break them, are an ask as preposterous as immortality. At this point, yeah. At this point, yeah. That's a big truc.